Welcome back to the Adventures of a Disney Dad podcast. My name is Matt. I am a dad of three and the founder of adventuresofaDisneyDad.com, a travel agent with a magic for less travel, and your host. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Chip, the dad of five. Chip, how's everything going tonight?
Oh, it's good. We had Super Bowl, so now we're on to whatever sports next. I guess it's basketball, then the baseball. It's what life runs now.
We did not get our Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift parade at Disneyland.
No, no, we didn't. I could have figured
That
that, but I like seeing his family. I like seeing Patrick Mahomes' family today, though. It was pretty cool.
Oh goodness. Well, that's that. Well, I've got more to say about that in a second. This week we are joined by Elizabeth and Maddie. They are known as the mini sisters on Instagram, but they are not sisters. And they have joined us to chat about all things Magic Kingdom for beginners. Elizabeth, Maddie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Yes. So I'm Maddie,
I'm Elizabeth.
and we are in fact not sisters. However, our moms are sisters. We're 9 months apart. We were raised as sisters.
Yes.
So we kind of just thought that rolled off the tongue a little bit better than the mini cousins.
Yes. And we are from Minnesota.
Yes.
Thus the
It
mini.
it is not Minnie Mouse. It is Minnie as in Minne. Minnesota.
Soda with the mini
Exactly.
soda. That
Oh,
hard,
yeah.
those hard vowels up here.
I feel like every time I go to chat with you guys on Instagram, I always think there's going to be an IE and there's not. So if you're definitely going to give them a follow after you listen to the episode, keep that in mind and make sure you find them. There'll also be links to their Instagram and socials in the show notes. So feel free to check them out. We love their content and we're happy to have you guys on the show. Going back really quickly to the Taylor Swift thing. And Patrick Mahomes in the parade. Did you guys see Patrick Mahomes in the parade? Girls, did you guys watch that?
Yeah, we saw a ton of clips. It was like all over our feed today.
Yeah.
He could
Like,
not
I couldn't
he could
get
not
away, I
have
couldn't
been
get away
like
from it.
he could not have been less interested. And
I know
And
he
I-
was literally throwing up the
Didn't care
peace
at
signs.
all.
Like he did. Yeah, he did not care.
that's his third. I think that's his third time, and two at Disneyland, one at Walt Disney World. And I'm sure he was like loaded, hungover, probably still.
There's a reason he had those sunglasses on, without a doubt. Like
Yeah.
he was probably consumed alcohol till wee hours of the morning.
He was also early, so I'm guessing
Yeah,
he
true.
didn't sleep. They just went and went. I don't know.
I saw
kept going.
videos of like Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift at the after party at like 4 a.m. So like they were basically going straight on a jet from Vegas to Southern California to go straight to Disneyland, which is just like we find that stuff fun, but it's also incredibly bizarre. So
Yeah, that was a short timeline, a quick turnaround for sure.
Yeah.
I still had like a little bit of hope that we were gonna see Travis Kelsey win the MVP, but I think he had like one catch in the first half, so that was gone pretty quickly. But moving across to all our Disney talk for this episode, we're gonna be talking about everything Magic Kingdom, everything you need to know for beginners, some things for veterans. But before we get into that, we're gonna talk to Maddie and Elizabeth about kind of how they became content creators and how they got into this crazy world of Disney content and things like that. So I guess just starting from the jump, how did you guys get started with your Instagram and working together to create Disney content?
Well, we've been Disney girls since the beginning. My dad did the college program back in the 80s. Yeah, so he worked at what is now Tony's Town Square restaurant. Back then it was
Like a Mardi Gras.
yeah, it was like a New
theme,
Orleans themed. And he just had the time of his life. He loved it. He got my mom really into Disney. And then just like the whole family followed suit.
Yeah, we've quite literally been going since we were in diapers. Like it's always been our family's thing. Our grandparents were pass holders in the 90s and early 2000s.
They lived down there.
Yeah, they lived in Florida. They actually went to Animal Kingdom on opening day. So
Wow.
we got a lot of roots in.
And
in
you
the
guys are
Disney
both annual
world.
pass holders too, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
So Minnesota annual pass holders. And are the husbands also into Disney? I believe, Maddie, I think I saw you post that you got engaged at Disney, right?
I did, and I will say that was 100% to appease his wife, without a doubt. And
Well done.
our husband's a good man. I did not see it coming. I'm like, how did you pull this off? Like, it was truly, a dream
A
proposal.
lot of work went into it.
Yes,
yeah.
and I have to say, I'm sure a lot of it
Yeah.
came from this one over here. But I got engaged at Happily Ever After in 2018. It was amazing. But yeah, my husband is more into like the movies. Like he's like a big Disney movie buff. But normally when we go to the parks, it's honest, we just like to go us too with the rest of our family. So they stay home and watch the dogs and the children and all that fun stuff.
My husband went for the first time, just my family, like my parents, my brother, and he said it was fun. He liked it, but he's like, it's not something I need to do every year.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you married the wrong girl.
That's why we have each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They were like, you two go have fun. But you're like, great, someone has to pay for these trips.
So you were like Disney kids essentially. When did you guys get the urge to start creating content? Like, how did that process of like creating your account start?
Maddie's like a photographer on the side for fun. So she takes just these gorgeous photos and videos. And she would create like little vacation memory videos for the family. And it kind of took off from there.
Yeah, we were like, what if like this left the family group chat and maybe other people would think this stuff is interesting and fun too. And we have so much fun doing it and kind of like documenting our trips. And we have so many tips that we're like, maybe we could just like have some fun with this and share it with fellow Disney lovers and see what happens. And we've had super fun, like great success with it and a lot of fun.
Yeah. We have friends who have brought their kids or like gone as a big family group and have asked us for advice because we go a lot with like our whole family as a big group. And yeah, we love helping people out. So we thought, oh, well, if we could do this for other people, why not?
Yeah,
that's how Matt and I got started as well. We're kind of the same way.
I feel like there's something about that, like being the Disney guy in like your own friend group or family group or whatever. It kind of snowballs into somebody telling you, why don't you help everybody else? And it kind of moves into something more. So that's awesome. That's how you guys got started. When it comes to trips, you recently went on a solo trip, Maddie, right? And you guys have,
I literally just got back.
And you have a trip together with the baby for the first time. So tell us a little bit about like how you guys like to travel when you do Disney, whether it be together or solo.
Well, so the solo trip, honestly, that was like my first solo trip. And I was already going down to Florida. So I was like, I have to go to Orlando for a couple of days. So that kind of just happened like organically. I wasn't planning that for like too far ahead. But when we go on our big family trips, like half of the fun that we have is the planning process.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
We like have the countdown going. We have, like, okay, what are we going to do on this date? Okay, we're a month out. We're 2 months out. Like,
I have alarms. I have alarms set like, okay, dining opens 4 a.m. for the trip we went on what was that? 2022, November 2022 that we went on with my dad. It was just the three of us. It was great. I remember, I think July is when the dining reservations opened. So it was 3 or 4 a.m. And I was like lying in bed 4th of July weekend, making dining reservations for us.
Yeah. She's like, what do you guys think of this? Okay. Are we going to do Ohana? What are we going to do? Like, we need to know. So we enjoy the planning process so much. We do love it.
Do you guys like to go with your larger groups or do you guys go just the two of you?
We've never gone just the two of us. We're really hoping to maybe this spring.
Just the two of us.
The two of us. But it often is, we usually plan trips around Run Disney just because that's kind of our excuse for going for our husbands.
Yeah, we're like, we're running, we're exercising, we have to.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
The whole family's going. It would be so silly if we didn't go too.
So
makes sense.
Yeah, so that's
it's logic, of course.
And ultimately that always ends up being a full family trip. And it's really funny because everyone will be like, we're not going to do it this year. And then one group will be like, actually, we just randomly decided to.
And then two people, and then another aunt, and then another uncle.
And then inevitably there's at least 10 of us going, if not more.
I was about to say, like, how big are these trips?
I think the biggest one was 16.
In 2018, we had 16 people. And I'll tell you what, that was a learning experience.
Doozy.
Yes. So we did go on a trip in last November, just the two of us with my uncle Elizabeth's dad. And it was such a fun trip because the three of us have just like the same kind of like interests on what we like to do when we're at the park. So we had like the best time. We're like the Three Musketeers. We're sending it all day.
Rope drop to fireworks.
All day long. Rope drop fireworks.
Extra magic hours.
All day long. Like we had the best time. So there are plus like perks and like pros and cons of a large group and a small group too. I think it's fun to do everything. It's just like a totally different vacation depending on the size of the group.
So Chip, you got more rope droppers.
I know. I get it. I can't. I got to take a break.
Love it.
It's too hot.
Well, but at least Chip does the midday breaks, and I just can't rope drop. Like it's just not. I can't. I actually kind of ranted about that on Instagram this week. Like there was somebody somebody posted like it's a big hack to get to Magic Kingdom 2 hours before they open, and I'm like, waiting 2 hours before they open is still waiting 2 hours. Like it doesn't. Exactly. But anyway, I'll get off my.
Well, yeah, when we rope drop, we don't like get there 2 hours before. No. Like we roll in when they're open.
And to be fair too, we don't rope drop every day. We'll like, okay, like we'll normally like we'll rope drop like Magic Kingdom because we're like we want to get on some rides.
Well, that you get the most bang for your buck.
Yeah, but then the next day we're like we're gonna rope drop again, and then we like look at each other at like 6:45, and we're like we are going to sleep in because we were at the parks until midnight. So,
but I'm already up because I have to get the lightning.
That's true.
You're a teacher, so you got to get up early. That's me. I mean. We just get up, we get the ball rolling, and
I'm already up.
Get a cup of coffee, and I'm going.
So I'm up anyway.
Yeah.
So when you went on your recent solo trip, there was one thing that really stuck out to me because I talked about it on the podcast recently, and that was your summer house. I think you went just for cookies, not for the meal. And I have to know what was your rating? Let's say out of 10, 0 out of 10. And understand that there are no rookie scores allowed on the podcast. So you can't give like a 7 or an 8 or an 8.5 or a 9, like none of that. So what is your rating for Summer House? What's your mini sister's cookie review?
Okay, so we love Gideon's. We get it every time. It is great. However, like sometimes you don't have the time to get the queue, to wait in line. Like if you're going to spend the whole day at Disney Springs, which we frequently do, like our first or last day, we really do go to Disney Springs quite a bit. But like I didn't have time for that. I needed some cookies. Your girl needed a sweet treat on the way out of town. So I liked it. Obviously it's not Gideon's. However, like they were a strong contender in my opinion. Like I thought they were great. I would probably give them my honest rating. I mean, Gideon's is a 10 out of 10, obviously. Oh, I'm like nervous to give this.
I'm cringing right now so hard.
I know. I like them because Elizabeth hasn't tried them yet.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so I would say my official rating, and we probably got like 6 different kinds. My uncle's like, let's get them all. I'm like, love it.
Well, yeah, you have to do a tasting.
Yeah, so we got like, I think we got like double fudge, peanut butter, chocolate chip, creamsicle, like peanut butter, oatmeal. Like we got a lot. Mm-hmm. I would say my honest rating is probably like a 7.1.
That's not bad. I think that's fair. Like a 2. Like
really?
Rookie score. That's a rookie score.
No. To be fair, it was like a 2.3 or something. Like, but the problem that I had with it, the food was way better than the cookies. The food was.
Yeah, I haven't tried the food yet because I'm waiting to do that with her and Elizabeth in the fall. Yeah.
So the food was outstanding, and you guys should definitely check it out. But the cookies were, I think they were just so overhyped. Like at the time I went, they hadn't been open long, and all the influencers had been through, and they're raving about this new cookie bar and how outstanding it is, and yada yada yada. And it was like I didn't expect like uncooked, not hot cookies. Like you hear cookie bar, I think you immediately think fresh, straight out of the oven, and it just wasn't that. So I think my expectations were too high in part. But I really go back to if I'm absent there being a time issue, there's just no way I would choose that over Gideon's.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, in my rating, I will include the fact that you can use your pass holder discount, which you can't at Gideon's. So there's that. So they're cheaper. But I also thought the ambiance was like so cute. It's like polar opposite of Gideon's. I also like went in with the thought of like efficiency. Like we wanted a sweet treat before we go. We wanted to try something new. We were in and out of there in probably like 6 minutes from like ordering to, and we went there, I think on a Thursday night too. And Disney Springs was packed. The restaurant was packed. So I think like, yeah, I'll drop it down to a solid 7. But I thought it was good. I mean,
I'm not out here. You can't. Number one, you can't change your score.
Yeah,
but,
that's fair.
but number two, I'm not trying to shame you into a lower score at all. And I will say that they did have me ready to buy merch. I thought
their
that
merch
they had
was
some
so
good merch.
cute. I'm surprised I didn't. If I would have had more time and we weren't leaving, I would have walked out of there with like a tumbler, a hat. Like it was so cute. But I think it's just I went into it thinking like this is a totally separate experience than Gideon's, because like you can't top that. Like you can try all you want, but like they have perfected this place. So like you can't compete with that. But I'm excited to see what Elizabeth thinks, because she is like diehard, like loves Gideon's too. So like your rating will probably be lower than mine.
Well, I mean, and I love, like, I'm a desserts person. Like, I love a sweet treat. So I think I'll probably be more critical.
Yes, I'm just like chocolate. I'm in. I'll take 3. So
there's so many other like really good dessert options at Disney Springs too. That's part of it. Is like it doesn't really stick out. Chip, like, what's your favorite? I don't think I've ever asked you this. What's your favorite Disney Springs dessert spot? Put Gideon's aside. Gideon's doesn't count.
You can't compete. It's not even fair.
Yeah, because I know you love that one.
I love Ghirardelli as well. We go in and get an ice cream sundae. I used to walk in and out of there multiple times when they'd give you the free chocolate bar. I don't think they do that anymore, but that's probably our go-to. I'm actually excited. I think we're gonna try Salt and Straw this upcoming trip. We haven't had it yet.
We haven't.
I like the funky flavors. I'm down to try funky flavor.
The one spot that I always see on social media that I haven't tried is the place that does the Dole Whip floats. Have you guys seen those where you can get like 3 different types? We got back from our last trip and my mother-in-law texted me and she's like, "Why didn't you take us here?" with like some Instagram video of like 3 gorgeous different Dole Whips, and I was like, I mean, I knew it existed, but it just
isn't that right by a margarita stand, right by the stage, I think?
Yeah, it's by like World of Disney.
I can't remember the name of it for the life of me right now, but they always have different types of Dole Whip floats. So definitely check that out the next time that you're at Disney Springs if you want to get some Dole Whip, because I love it. I also just found out there's a Summer House here in Chicago. Summer House on the Lake is in. I don't know if it has the cookie bar, but I was told they have the same menu, because I've guests that are going down for spring break, and they had me make a dining reservation at Summer House, and they go, "We love that restaurant. We go all the time." I said, "How have you possibly gone? You've never been to Disney World?" And they said that there's one here in Chicago. So I learned something new, and I need to check it out.
Yeah, I never knew that.
Yeah.
The Dole Whip spot is called Swirls on the Water, by the way. Swirls on the Water. That's
what it is.
I would not have gotten that if you gave me 10 guesses. So
I feel like I always see people post about it. So when it comes, like, what was the crowds and the weather like on your recent trip? And what were the dates that you went, just for reference?
Yeah, so I went, let's see, the 6th through the 9th. So it was
February, right?
Monday. Yeah, of February, Monday to Thursday. So it wasn't bad. I mean, I'm used to like the wine and dine crowds, like crazy. I mean, it definitely wasn't dead. Like it was still super busy. And the last day that I got there, the last time I was there, the like national cheerleaders competition were there. Like there were cheerleaders everywhere. We could not escape them. We were laughing because they were so loud, and like we're pretty loud. Like,
well, and you were staying at All Star Sports too, so that was part of it.
Yeah, so we stayed there for a couple days. We did Swan and Dolphin for a couple days, and then All Star Sports for a couple days, and they were everywhere. Like it was so loud, and we were laughing, at their little outfits. Like it was cute. They were having fun. However, like teenage girls running around everywhere, I was like, it is time for me to leave. But it wasn't bad. We did have pretty chilly weather. I mean, it was cold. Yeah, we're from Minnesota, so I'm used to the cold, but I'm not used to like the cold in Florida, so it kind of threw me off a little bit. During the day, it was beautiful. I mean, we wore like jeans and like layers, whatever. But at night, I mean, it got down to like 45 degrees. So I was chilly. I was not used to that. So it was chilly.
That's interesting. I think you quickly learn that February is not like a dead spot at Walt Disney World.
Yeah. All right, ladies, what do you think the best coffee is at Walt Disney World? Besides Gideon's cold brew.
Oh my gosh, that
yes.
peanut butter cold brew. And like to preface it, I can't stand Joffrey's. So I am
Yeah.
always on the search now that I'm a coffee drinker, for the best coffee at Walt Disney World. Chip put me on to the peanut butter cold brew at Gideon's, which was awesome. But do you guys have any, like, how do you guys handle coffee when you go down on a vacation?
If I'm drinking coffee for enjoyment, we like Maddie said, we always stay at the Dolphin, so they have a little coffee shop Fuel. So we'll go down there and grab
Like
lattes,
lattes.
like a fun drink. If we're in the parks drinking coffee,
It's for fuel.
Yes,
Like,
like
we're getting it for fuel
cream-
and fuel alone.
yeah, like regular coffee, cream, sugar, shortest line.
And I'm going for like a double shot of espresso. I'm gonna
Yes.
send it and chase it with a donut, and
Yeah.
we are going.
Like,
so
I love Starbucks, but I can get Starbucks anytime. I don't have time to wait in line.
Yep.
Time is money when you are in the parks.
So you guys don't mind when Joffrey's tastes like concrete. You're just trying to inhale it and
We rip
move
it,
along.
like-
Shoot it back.
There you-
And if we're like to Elizabeth's point, like if we're gonna sit and enjoy a cup of coffee, like we're gonna sit and find a cute spot at the resort or go to the boardwalk, like walk around.
I love grabbing a coffee at the boardwalk in the morning if I have time.
Yeah, but when
nice.
we're at the park, like we are not enjoying that coffee. It's strictly
In,
fuel,
out.
caffeine. It's probably because we got up, to do Genie Plus and we're rope dropping and we're like, we can't make it to our next lightning lane. So we need some fuel.
Well, you guys mentioned the Swan and Dolphin, and I've never stayed there. Chip, have you ever stayed there?
No, I actually might stay there the day before we get to Disney.
Do it.
I'm thinking about it.
Do it.
Yes.
I'm always intrigued by it because I have like Marriott points through work, and one of the
Mhm.
few
Yep.
things that people don't know is that you can book a Disney package at the Swan and Dolphin and put your tickets together and all that stuff, and you can use Marriott points. So
Yep.
and you can actually also book it separately through Marriott, but I wouldn't recommend doing that for a number of different reasons. But putting that aside, like, what do you guys think? What's your review of the Swan and Dolphin, and why do you like staying there?
I mean, 10 out of 10 is our
We
review.
love it.
It's our favorite. We
Even
started
better
staying
than any
there-
of the Disney resorts?
Well, so we love the Poly too. Like we love the Poly. However,
Okay, I'll give it a 9. I'll give it a 9.
yeah,
out of
Poly's the
10.
10 out of 10. We'll
Poly
give it a
10
9.
out of 10, theming, everything. But
Okay.
we started staying at the Dolphin. My dad used to go down for like conventions and stuff back when I was a kid, and he would just bring my mom and my brother and I. And now he travels a lot for work, so he has the Marriott points. So for me, like, that's my home park.
Yeah.
Or not my home park, sorry, my home resort. Like, I've been going there since I was 3. Like, I still have the little dolphin stuffed animal that they gave me when I was sick on one trip when I was like 6.
We've got a lot of roots
Yeah,
there
it's
too.
it's and
It's nostalgic
biggest-
a little bit, right?
It
yeah,
is.
it's very nostalgic.
Our-
I mean, and so much of Disney is
Yeah, you'll find like a
nostalgia.
lot of the stuff that we love is like nostalgia based. Like we've been
Yeah.
going for so long that we love the new stuff, of course, but like a lot of our choices and our like
Yeah.
favorite things, really we tug at the heartstrings of
Oh,
ourselves.
R.I.P. Splash.
Oh,
We're so excited.
Devastated. Can't wait.
Princess and the Frog, one of my favorite movies.
So excited.
Tiana, one of my favorite princesses. Splash was our all-time favorite ride.
Yeah, that was
really-
Did you guys get to go towards the end?
Oh yes,
Yes.
we went on like 6 times our last trip.
Oh my gosh.
We went on back and like
over and over and over.
we laughed because we were like looking back at some of our photos of our like last night that we were there, and
Yeah.
all of our shirts,
see the
you can see like the
water.
splash marks. We're like, oh, there's a piece of her that will live on.
R.I.P.
It's like the people that put the water on eBay. Did
Oh,
you guys see
that was out of control. Yeah, I mean, we love it, but we were like,
Crazy.
calm down, calm down.
Crazy.
So let's put this into perspective here.
So is the Swan and Dolphin like your home resort?
We love it, and
That's
I
my
mean,
home resort.
so like the reasons I love it too is like I'm a pool girl. Like you'll catch me in the pool. I love to swim. I love a hot tub. I love like a midday pool break.
Yeah.
And they have so many options. They have so many pools, and they have a waterfall and slides and multiple hot tubs. And I like it because there's a good amount of children there, having fun, but there's also like some quiet spots for adults when you're just trying to like have some peace and quiet. Their hot tubs are open late, so we love it. And their food, they have a ton of food options too that are open till like 1 a.m.
Yeah, they have late night food options, which is always great when you're getting back from the park late. And the other, I would say, one of the top reasons to book it is because you are within, or
So-
you have the friendship boats.
All right. So I got to put this into context for anyone listening that hasn't stayed at the Swan and Dolphin.
Oh
Yes.
yes.
If you were to compare it to the moderate resorts at Disney, would you rank it number one?
Yes.
Yeah, of
Absolutely.
Okay.
course.
All right. Now let's do the deluxe. Let's do the monorail resorts. Where would you rank it in terms of contemporary, Grand Floridian, Polynesian, Swan and Dolphin?
Well,
Polynesian.
Polly's our number one. Like
Always.
we
Okay.
love the Polynesian.
So I feel like it gets tougher with the other two.
It does. See, okay, it does. But if we're
does.
talking about like the financially as well, like it's a good bang for your buck.
Oh
Like it's
yeah.
it's
And
always a good price.
especially if you are someone who stays at Marriott's a lot.
The points.
Yeah, you get your points.
But I also
you-
think that it gives you the boardwalk amenities without paying like for yacht and beach, and those are all,
and that's such a beautiful resort.
such a
area.
beautiful resort area.
So you would probably put it number two based on the value that you get from Swan and
Yeah, I mean,
Dolphin?
I don't know. Would you pick?
I
Grand
would. I
over-
would. I would pick it over Grand because I think Grand's theming needs a
updating.
revamp.
I agree. Yeah.
The Grand, I'll take this. The recent news about Grand Floridian with Park Fair coming back with a new character meal, I think changes the game for the Grand Floridian, in my opinion.
Yes.
I
Like,
think so. I just think it's a little. They need a refresh. It's a little tired. It's a little stiff.
Yeah, and I
little
know
stuffy.
they tried with like Enchanted Rose, but I mean, this is a tangent. But at this point, like, pick a theme.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
what
oh,
is the theme?
Just pick anything and stick to it. Like we'll follow you, but so
I can
I
agree
would
with
say
that.
Polly is first for sure. Then Grand, or excuse me, Polly, then Swan and Dolphin, then Grand.
Is Grand?
I don't even know. I don't think, is it considered deluxe or moderate? I don't even know.
No,
It's not.
Is it?
It's not categorized. The
Oh
Swan and
yeah, you're right. I
Dolphin-
guess it's not.
But
It-
but that's true. You get the amenities of a deluxe resort. You get
Yep.
early entry,
Extra
you get
magic
extra
hours.
magic hours.
Like the extra
worth
magic
it.
hours alone are unreal. Like when I was just there,
Oh yeah.
when I was by myself, I did the extra magic hours from staying at the Swan and Dolphin, and I was able to ride like 7 rides. It was
Yeah.
unreal. Like I walked right on to Mine Train, and I was like, what? Like this never happens. I literally walked right through the queue. I was like, wow, this is a long walk when you're not going, super slow.
Have you stayed at all three of them? Have you stayed at the reserve as well?
We haven't stayed at the
We
reserve.
haven't stayed at the reserve,
Just
but
the
we stayed
Dolphin,
at the
and the
Dolphin.
Swan. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Swan is nice because it has queen size beds.
Yeah, the beds are bigger.
I will say the Dolphin, if you're getting 2 beds in your room, you can have a king size bed, or if you do 2 beds in your room, they are doubles, and that is
It's tight.
Yeah. Yikes.
not as
No,
roomy.
I think the only downside of their rooms is there's some rooms with no view at all, right? They're like interior categorized rooms with no
Oh.
view.
I guess we've been
None
we've
that
okay, but I
I've
think
stayed
that
in.
we've been spoiled though because of
Yeah,
Marriott points
got
that
that.
we get.
Yeah.
We always get a view.
We've got those sweet points, so we're always looking at.
Thanks,
we're always
Uncle
looking at
Dave.
Something good. We can usually see the fireworks.
Yeah.
from
A
Epcot.
big-
Which is the other
big
thing
shout
that's
out to
cool,
Uncle
too.
Dave.
Yeah, shout out Uncle Dave. We joke. We're like, he's our CFO.
He's our CFO.
We love him. So
He's the mini dad.
yeah, mini dad. We love him.
There was a
Nice.
point where I was looking at booking like the beginning of March. I was looking at the Swan and Dolphin with Marriott points, and I was just blown away that there was a room with no view at all. And I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
guess
what
that
does
we'd have to
that
look into that
entail?
more.
I think it must mean like there are some that kind of face each other because
Yeah,
of
it's like an
the-
balconies.
interior view.
That's
Yeah,
why definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
probably you
it, like
face each other.
it reminds me of when you're in MCO in the airport, right there in that lobby, and it's
Oh,
like
yeah, the
having
little
a view of
yes,
the airport lobby.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I don't
wow, what a
want
sight.
Exactly.
like I don't want to see that. So like I'd
As much
rather
as
it
we
just
love
be
the
a wall.
carpet, we don't need to look out on the balcony and see it.
Matt loves
That
the
is
carpet.
exactly right. I do. Who doesn't love that
Oh,
carpet?
it's
It's
the signal.
iconic.
It's the signal of your trip beginning. It's the
It's
it's
the-
the symbol.
Yeah.
It's the epitome of if you know, you know. It's really what it
100%.
comes down to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So before we like get into our real main segment, because we've been going long, I do want to ask, you've got the first trip with the baby coming up. And I think if I remember right, the baby is 4 months old now.
Yep.
Yep.
And when is the first trip, and kind of how has your planning changed now that you're going with the baby for the first time?
So his first trip will be in November, so he'll be 13 months, which feels like a good age. He'll be hopefully sleeping by then. Fingers crossed.
I get
and
that.
yeah, right. I'm nervous, to be honest, but the best tip we've heard for bringing babies to Disney is to bring their grandparents. So
Top tip.
Well done.
we will be doing that, and I will be running my first half marathon because we're going for Wine and Dine race weekend. So that's a little nerve-wracking too, to be doing such a big race while also having the baby there.
But I think that the good thing is that we will be with our big family that trip.
yeah.
So it's like all hands on deck. We'll be there.
My hope is I don't even see him the whole day. I'll just see him at night.
Bye. We'll see you later. Just kidding.
I did the marathon, not 2024 but 2023, when my son was very little. So he was 6 months, and then we had the two older ones. And I feel like with Wine and Dine, it's a little easier on spectators because it's only a half.
Totally.
And
yeah.
I say only a half, not like a half is a huge accomplishment. But you don't have as much to bounce around to try and see your runner, which I think makes it a little easier for like your big family trying to see you finish and trying to see you on the course and things like that, because you're not like trying to deal with all the people trying to get from 800 different places.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree, and I think Chip would agree too. You got to bring the grandparents.
Oh yeah.
Makes it
We're doing
makes
it
a
for
lot easier.
them. The memories.
Exactly. So that's been awesome. We're happy to have you on the show, and we appreciate you giving everybody a little bit of background into kind of how you guys do Disney. Let's talk a little bit about Magic Kingdom for first-time planners. And so we're going to kind of go around the group and talk about favorite attractions, foods, Genie Plus, kind of all the things that you would need to know. And let's start a little bit with attractions. And the big one is Tron and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. One of our listeners reached out and asked specifically about individual lightning lanes and whether or not Seven Dwarfs and or Tron are worth it for individual lightning lanes. I think for people that aren't aware, individual lightning lanes are when you can buy that attraction, because Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is not included in Genie Plus. Tron is a virtual queue that you can do for free, but it's, a lottery, a crapshoot. So $15 to $20, and you get per person, you get Seven Dwarfs Mine Train or Tron. Girls, what do you think? And then Chip, I want to get your thoughts on this. Are they worth it? Are you guys buying it on your trips, or what's your thought?
An unpopular opinion probably. I really don't think Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is worth
agree.
it. If you really, really want to rope drop or get in line during the fireworks.
Yep.
Great tips.
Those would be my top two tips. Otherwise, if it's something that you really, really want to do, I think I did it when I went on a trip with my husband, just the two of us, because we really wanted to do it. So we paid the extra money. I was like, okay, this is fine. And then when we went,
we rope dropped it.
And so that made it worth it, because it's a really
it's
nice,
short, and it's short too.
It's a nice smooth ride, but it's done like that. So I'm not waiting 2 hours for that.
And that is
Chip,
an
what do you
unpopular
think?
opinion. I feel like it's super, people love it.
I do think it's something that people love. That's for sure. Chip, what do you think?
I agree. There's only one ride I would pay for, and it's not a Magic Kingdom, and that's Star Wars.
Rise of the Resistance.
Rise of the Resistance that's the only ride I would pay extra for. I've been to Magic Kingdom multiple times since Seven Dwarfs opened, and I've yet to ride it. I always forget that. I'm not going to wait in line for it.
Totally.
Well, but do your kids ask about it?
Yeah, and then I say it's a 2 hour wait. We're not waiting. Let's go ride Big Thunder 3 times, and it's a better roller coaster.
Disney math.
Going back to the coffee, time is money.
Disney math. Yes.
The time is money part is the reason why I always end up paying for it, and so I'll take the contrary opinion. I do think they've all raised very good points about rope dropping it. Keep in mind though, too, like there is something to be said for like everybody's going to be trying to rope drop it. So you like if you aren't like towards the front of that crowd, it's not like you're not going to wait at all. You're still going to wait a little bit, but the queue for that ride is also fun. But the one thing I'll say is like if you've got kids, that's where like that's been my experience, is that my kids absolutely love that ride. and I'm never gonna wait 2 hours for it, and I also don't rope drop, so I have to pay for it. That's
Yep.
like because
Now,
it's that point, time is money. Like I'm not gonna wait 2 hours for anything, period. So but it does get up being it's expensive. Like when we had 8 people, $15 a head is plus Genie Plus is not
Yep.
a cheap day at the parks. So you got to keep that in mind too. But what do you guys? So what's the word? Oh, go ahead, Chip.
I was gonna say, if I don't get Genie Plus one day this trip, I might do it just to say we've done it and we got something to look
Mhm.
forward to. But that would be probably the only stretch of. But I would not do it for Tron. Don't do it for Tron.
So that's the one I was going to ask. So Chip, your thought is you would not pay for individual lightning lane for Tron. Girls,
No.
what's your thought on Tron individual lightning lane?
So I just went on. Elizabeth hasn't been on it yet.
I haven't been on it.
I just did it the first time. I did the virtual queue. I was right. I was refreshing at 6:55. So,
Yeah.
I got on right away. It actually is funny because I got on. I was like so stoked, and then I was the next person in line,
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
it
funny.
shut down. And I was like,
Well,
"Are
and
you kidding me right now?" Like, oh, I was the
I
very next person.
I think I saw you talk about once you went back, it took a while though, right?
Yes.
And it
So they were like, "Come back during fireworks. It's gonna be we're dead." And I was like, "Okay," because they said, I was like straight up with the cast member. I'm like, "Is this coming back on?" And she was like, "No, it's not." So come back tonight. We'll honor it. It's much cooler at night, which I wanted to ride at night anyway.
It ended up being a blessing, but
It was, but I was still waiting in line for an hour and 15 minutes. And I was like, well, I missed Happily Ever After. It was still packed, but I do think that probably would have worked had it not been shut down for such a big chunk of the afternoon.
Mhm.
So I'm sure a ton of people came back and that's why. But I don't know, like I love roller coasters. I thought it was so sick. I would not pay for it, I don't think. But the virtual queue I think is nice. But I don't think it'd be worth it unless you go at night. So that's the other thing is like you can't control when your virtual queue is. So it's kind of like a
Yeah.
catch 22. I don't know, but at night, like I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much during the day.
If I go on
so
it, I'll probably pay for it.
Yeah, just for the
just
one
to get it
time,
done with.
yeah.
But then I don't think I would ever do that again.
you touched on so many of my thoughts. Number one, like when you do the virtual queue, for the most part, there's a long line still, which
Yeah.
is the frustrating part. Like you're still waiting at least like 45 minutes usually.
Mhm.
And we did that once where we had the virtual queue and I was the guy that was sitting with the 3 kids while my in-laws and my brother-in-law and my wife all went. And it was a long time. Like they were in there
Yeah.
for close to an hour. And so like if you do want that like walk on immediately experience, it can be worth it to save the time to pay for it. But the other part is like if you're doing it the first time, never ridden Tron before, you have to do it at night. And the only way to guarantee that is to pay for it.
That's
That's
true.
the
It was worth
unfortunate part of
you
it.
need to do it at night. It's such a
Yeah.
different experience. Like I would have, and I will say too, had it been, like if I wasn't by myself, I would not have waited in that line. And
Yeah.
I also had extra magic hours. So I knew I was
Mhm.
going to be able to go on extra rides that night, walk on because, they were open till midnight. But yeah, the nighttime is like such a game changer. Like those lights, it's such a cool, like better experience in my opinion.
The music too. Like that ride is themed so well that you get
Yeah.
the music and it kind of goes through that whole area at the same time too. But that I can't imagine how disappointed I'd be riding it during the day. Like the
Oh,
first time
I
especially.
100%. Yep.
It,
I would have
it
been
was
so mad,
cool.
and if I would have waited all that because I waited in that virtual queue to get in for 45 minutes still, and then at that
Mhm.
45-minute mark, and then I was like walked away, and I'm like, wait, I actually like want to ride this at night. So I think it worked out, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like yeah, your first time, pay for it to do it at night, so you can say you did it. But like for me, I'll be fine not going on it again for a while. I mean, now Guardians, that's a different story,
Oh, well, that's
but I'll pay for Guardians. I love Guardians,
Yeah.
but Toronto was like, like it was super cool, but it's nothing too crazy.
Fair. So let's talk favorite attractions at Magic Kingdom. Chip, I'll start with you on this one. What is your like you, your kids, your family in general? What are your must-do attractions or your top like one or two?
Probably one would have been Splash, but no
Oh,
Splash now. I'm gonna
oh,
say it's Big Thunder. Big Thunder's probably number one. Number two is Pirates. My kids love
Hmm.
Pirates. I have no idea why. My daughters love it. Like my 4-year-old, she's like, Dad, I want to go ride Pirates. When can we go ride Pirates? Can we watch the Pirates POV on YouTube. Like it's that kind of stuff. So
I
Mhm.
love that.
Girls, what are your thoughts? Like, what pick one or two? What are your top two recommendations you'd have?
Pirates.
Oh,
yeah.
oh no.
Pirates.
I
One
I
of
mean,
our favorites.
again, like coming back to the piece. I mean, Splash would be our number one, which I will love Tiana's, but I think like we love Pirates, we love Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
And I love Jungle Cruise. Like if you get a good skipper, like it is so entertaining. Like I had a great skipper the last time that I was there. He was so funny. He like made my whole night.
Well, and that it's different every time. So that's always fun about Jungle Cruise is you don't know. I mean, some of the jokes are always the same, backside of water, but Jungle Cruise is fun because the skippers usually will make it their own.
Yeah. We also love the People Mover. We do.
Yeah.
There
The
it
older
is.
we get,
There
we're
it
like,
is.
the People Mover is the spot. Like we're sitting here and we're like, this is
Yes.
kind of it.
Like that's where you go midday.
Yes.
Because we're Swan and Dolphin. If we're at Magic Kingdom, we're going all day because we're not going back for midday naps.
Mhm.
So we'll hit up the People Mover, take a little nap,
Kick our feet up.
Yeah.
We got stuck on the part of People Mover when the last time we went together. We got stuck like right as you're entering Space Mountain. And it
Oh,
was
it was
like
so
it was
cool.
pitch black. And we were like, what if we just took a nap really quick? Like we were there for like 7 minutes. We're
Yeah,
like,
it's
should we just
nice.
take a little snooze? It's like pitch black. It's kind of relaxing.
Vibey.
Yeah. So we've really grown into like loving. We're in our People Mover era, we think.
I that is my like number one attraction for myself. Like when I go on solo trips, you'll find me multiple times on the People Mover because I just think it's amazing, especially if you go at like sunset when you come around and you get that view of Magic Kingdom.
Gorgeous.
And the
It's-
castles coming down. It's like that's hands down the best view of the castle is when you're on People Mover.
Some of my favorite like photos and videos that I've ever taken have been from the People Mover of the castle when like the sun's going down or whatever. It's a
Mhm.
great way to like get a rest in for a few minutes, and there's never a line. It's like the kids always kind of get into it a little bit, which I appreciate. But like the outside of Big Thunder and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, the rest of them are all kind of clumped together for me. So
Yeah.
it like there's not one that really sticks out. Like I gotta do, the Haunted Mansion or Jungle Cruise. Like they're all great and they all have their place. But it's always the Seven Dwarfs, Big Thunder, and the People Mover kind of have their place for me. So the People Mover always gets overlooked. That's the other thing. Like
yeah.
Which is what we
You
like
know-
about it. I'm like, we need to stop talking about how much we love it, or people are going to catch on to us, and it's going to bump up to a 50-minute wait.
yeah, but you got to talk about it so that these people that are going for the first time, they don't like miss
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
True.
Yeah,
You
and
need
then-
to, don't sleep on the People Mover. Or if you're
Exactly,
us, you
so
can
make
sleep
sure you
on the
stop.
People Mover.
There have been that's a good one. There have been lines there the last like few times I've been,
Yeah.
and I feel like I've seen pictures because I always joke that it's finally getting the respect that it deserves.
Yeah. I
which-
waited 20
which-
minutes for it, and I was like, I'll wait. I
Oh,
honestly
yeah.
would wait. Like it's relaxing, and it's long too. Like it's worth
Yeah.
the wait.
Well, and I
Mhm.
have to give a special shout out. My family in particular, we love Carousel of Progress.
Yeah, you do.
We do. And that's another really nice place to nap. So me too.
Ah,
I know. My husband's so
Ah.
cute. We were describing the different rides to him on his first trip, and we were like, "Okay, what do you wanna get a fast pass for?" And he's like,
R.I.P. Fast Pass.
right. And he's like, Carousel of Progress. And we were like, oh,
Like, no.
that's not something you fast
No.
pass. That's something you like, oh, it's, we don't really know what we're going to do next. We might as well go hit Carousel of Progress. And,
Let's go hit so we can stack our Genie Pluses while we sit in
Yeah.
the air conditioning.
So this is a fun question, and I want to ask Chip this too. But now that you've both gone with your spouses?
Yeah.
Was there one ride that you hyped up to your spouse that they ended up like being like, "What's the big deal about this?"
Ooh.
Chip, think about this one because I'm coming to you next.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know it right
I
off the
feel
bat.
like. Oh, I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
That's a tough question. I know this wasn't one that I hyped up to him, but when we went on Everest, I remember when it started to go backwards, he freaked out because I didn't tell him anything, so he wasn't
Hmm.
expecting it. And so like that was funny as someone who goes all the time.
Oh, I have one.
Like I wasn't even thinking about the fact that it goes backwards. And then he was like, wait, what's happening?
Mine would be Spaceship Earth. My husband's like, I don't get it. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, he was like, what? Like, so that would be one where he was like, this is like, what are we, you know, I don't
Yeah,
start
like I
thinking-
don't get it.
It's like, I don't get it. Like, what are we doing? I was like, it's Earth. Like, it's our spaceship Earth. And he was like, I don't see the hype. But that's again a nostalgic one that we love
Yeah.
too.
That's a perfect answer. Chip, what's yours?
So I have two. Both happened this last trip. Haunted Mansion. My wife's like, I don't get it. Just doesn't make sense to me. And then the other one was the Tiki Room, which we did it at night, and I was just like, yeah, let's just go do it. And she's like, this is terrible. Can we leave? Like,
That's exactly actually Haunted Mansion is ours. Like my wife and I did an after hours date night, so we did take the grandparents watch the
Yep.
kids. We did date night after hours at Magic Kingdom, and we went straight to Haunted Mansion. That was like one of the first things we did, and we got off of it. My wife was like, we just don't need to ever do that again. Like it's not scary. Like I feel like
No.
she got a little more of the nostalgia because the movie had like just came out after I think we got back.
Mm.
But I think she appreciated it a little bit more after like having some interest in the story or whatever. But that
Mhm.
was definitely one where it's like I like, yeah, whatever.
Like, what are we
But-
doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like the nostalgia, unless you have that nostalgia hit, it just there's like, all right, well, that was fine. And it always gets stuck. I was oh gosh, I've been on that ride when it's gotten
Oh,
stuck way too many
We were
times.
just talking about the worst place we got stuck is right as you're
When it
going
turns.
backwards. So we were stuck at like laying on our backs in the dark looking
Like
at
a
the ceiling.
40-degree angle.
Yeah, we were like, this is not ideal.
but again, it's a
Yeah.
place to take a nap.
Yeah, but we were like, but should
Yes.
we take a nap? We're just napping on the rides.
Yeah.
That's our
Yeah,
habit.
that's
Take a
true.
nap.
I actually-
we've gotten stuck at some hilarious spots on rides.
I got stuck and took a nap during the Christmas party on Haunted Mansion, and because
It's
I was stuck
dark.
for
There
like
you go.
25 minutes, and
Oh,
I
yeah, that's rough.
legitimately I was there for an agency thing, and I absolutely passed out. I did not enjoy that ride. I was with a bunch of agents, so I was like basically by myself, and I was like, I did not. That was not for me. But let's talk about Genie Plus.
Yep.
Genie Plus strategy at Magic Kingdom. Rope drop. You girls, you guys and Chip are gonna have to be the rope drop experts because I just don't do it. So I mean, I can tell people how to do it, but I don't like to personally do it. So the first question is, do you guys like to use Genie Plus at Magic Kingdom, or do you just stick with your rope drop strategy?
So we do both.
Okay.
So just kind of like starting with rope drop, we have kind of like a hot take because
Oh yeah.
we don't like mine train is just not a priority for us. I mean, sometimes we will do it like when it was just us two, that's fine. But when it's like our big family, we actually rope drop Adventureland. Because while you're waiting in line for
Adventure Frontier.
yeah, and Adventure Frontierland, and like so like we will go on Big Thunders. We went on Splash with Tiana's whatever now, and we'll go on Pirates, Jungle Cruise. We'll get all these
Jungle Cruise isn't open for.
Oh yeah,
rope
rope
drop.
drop.
I
But we'll
can
be
answer that.
we're can be right there at the end
Yeah.
of it. But we
Mhm.
like we were able to go on all these rides, and there's not a crowd. Like we are able to
Yeah.
walk. We don't have to sprint. There's no pushing. It's not like a stressful situation.
Mhm.
So we like to rope drop Adventureland and then Frontierland. That's kind of like our hot take where everyone's going to
Yeah.
Fantasyland or Tomorrowland. Like
Mhm.
we never rope drop that way.
Yeah. I do think Genie Plus is totally worth it at Magic Kingdom, though. I
Yes.
mean, there are so many rides at that park. So it's if you're gonna get it at one park, get it at that one.
Yeah, Elizabeth is like the Genie Plus wizard of our family. Like I didn't even get Genie Plus this last time when it was just me because I was like, I'm not going to be able to do it the way she does it, and I'm just going to get frustrated. So I'm just not going to do it at all. She
You
is
should have
like
made her do it
queen.
remote for you.
Well, I said she's going to
I
sabotage
did.
me.
You know, her mom asked. She was like, "Can you just like do it for us?" And I was like, "No."
I said she's going to sabotage me and sign me up for like Carousel Progress because
Yes.
I'm there without her.
Yeah, yeah. It was like I was up anyway with the baby. I mean, I could have done it,
Yeah.
but out of principle, I wasn't going to.
Yes, of
There
course.
you go.
But she is the
and
queen.
I think that is the hot take. Like, no matter what you're gonna do, you have to think that everybody that's rope dropping is going to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Yeah.
Or
So-
Peter Pan's Flight.
Or Peter Pan.
or Peter Pan's Flight. And the funniest thing about this entire Genie Plus thing at Magic Kingdom is if you don't get Genie Plus and you wait a really long time for a lot of these rides, you're going to end up really, really angry. And I
Yeah.
say that because like Peter Pan's Flight, you can say that about a lot of them, like Jungle Cruise, Pirates, Haunted Mansion. If you're going for the first time, you don't have that nostalgia factor, and you wait like an hour and a half for one of those, you are going to be underwhelmed. And you're like,
Yeah.
this is not a fun time waiting 2 hours for
Yeah.
Peter Pan's Flight.
Well, and especially Jungle Cruise, because that queue is brutal. I mean, it is.
Just when you think that you're done, there's like another loop, and you're like, oh.
I mean, and it's boring and it's hot. At least Peter Pan's Flight, you're inside
and it's interactive.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You could not pay me to wait 2 hours for Peter Pan's Flight, and I think about that.
Never.
Yeah, we did it because we rope dropped Mine Train, and Peter Pan was like a 15-minute wait, and we're like, oh my gosh, we haven't
been on this in years.
We need to do this just to say that we did it in 15 minutes. I mean, we ended up waiting like 20 minutes, but it was worth it because
no, not even 20.
Yeah, it was like 15. Yeah, we did it, and we were like, this is cute. Like the queue is cute. It's interactive. Like your hands up with the Tinkerbell and the butterflies. Like that's cute. But I would never.
I have a Saint Bernard, so I love Nana.
Yeah, but that is you're like we will not be doing that for a long time.
No, and that was another one. We got stuck in a really funny spot. We got stuck like between London and Neverland, staring at a black wall.
Yeah, we couldn't even like see anything below us. We were like, oh, right.
And that was a long wait too.
Yeah, it was like 20 minutes.
But yeah, I mean, and again, that's another nostalgia ride where you ride it and you're like, oh, it was so much better when I was a kid.
Yeah,
this one's not that great now.
Yeah. I feel like that's why I feel like Genie Plus can be so beneficial, is because like if you don't wait that long, you're not as disappointed. But Chip, what's your thought on rope drop and Genie Plus strategy at Magic Kingdom?
So kind of going with them. So when you rope drop, majority of the time they only let you into Tomorrowland, Fantasyland, and then you got to wait till like regular park opening to get into Adventureland.
Yeah.
So we screwed up this last time, and I didn't realize that they didn't let you into Adventureland right away. So we just kind of walked around. We did the carousel like 2 or 3 times because my younger kids loved it. And then we did It's a Small World 5-minute wait. And then we kind of worked our way back over to Fantasyland and did Pirates and Jungle Cruise, and then just kind of worked our way. But like they said, there's nobody back there. It's dead.
Yeah.
Once you get to It's a Small World, there's nobody back there. It's phenomenal.
The good thing too, if you do get Genie Plus, is that like and I tell people this a lot, when you go to Hollywood Studios, in my opinion, you're forced to stack lightning lanes, because if you get Slinky Dog Dash, you're probably not going to get it until later in the day, and you have to make that your first selection, otherwise you're not getting it. So if you get Slinky Dog Dash at like 3 p.m., then you can't book another lightning lane until 2 hours after the park opens. So you might as well just stack them and, plan your day out that way. The good thing about Magic Kingdom is it's kind of the opposite. Nothing's going to sell out immediately in terms of what Genie Plus selections you can have. Like obviously you want to do the virtual queue for Tron right away, but like you don't have to pick Peter Pan's Flight first, like to make sure that you get it, because when your next selection pops up, for the most part, you're going to be able to get whatever you want. It just may be that, Peter Pan's Flight is 4 in the afternoon or whatever the case may be, but at least you're not like locked out of stuff from the get-go. And then there's good stuff still available. We've talked a lot on the podcast about how like you go to Epcot and, you book Frozen and then you try and get Remy's second, then after that it's kind of sparse. It's either everything's gone or there's not like something worth Genie Plus, and you get other problems. So like I don't remember which one of you mentioned it, but Magic Kingdom really is the best bang for your buck on Genie Plus.
It is. Yep.
And the stacking is the way to do it. And there is just so much more like quantities of rides to choose from. And even if it's not your favorite option, like it's still fun. Like they're all still fun rides. They all have a piece that you'll enjoy.
Yeah.
So one of my tips is I always take an afternoon break during the summer. It rains. So what I'll do is I'll book rides that are going to close because of the storm, and then I get an anytime fast pass.
That's a good hack. I love that hack.
Dude,
I love that for us.
Ooh, put that in our pocket.
Yeah. And we love but we love going to the park when it rains anyway. That's like our favorite time to go to the Hollywood Studios. Like
that was a question I want to ask you guys about. So in general, and this doesn't apply just to Magic Kingdom, but I've seen you guys talk about the rainy days. What tips would you have for people that are going and they're worried about it raining and ruining their vacation and things like that? What tips do you guys have?
So
Embrace it.
Embrace it. Like you're there. You paid for this. And
Yes.
I will say, I know, Matt, that you hate the sandals at the park. Like I know that's your
Oh my
thing.
gosh.
But the only time, and we're with
It's
you,
the biggest
the
thing.
only time it's
time.
acceptable is when it's raining because like
Yes.
it makes it if you're not worried about getting your tennis shoes soaked and like we wear a poncho longer than your backpack. Like we put our whole outfit on and then we put the poncho over the backpack,
Yeah.
wear a hood, like
You
the
look like
hooded sweatshirt.
Quasimodo. It's
You
great.
look crazy, but like we went on Slinky Dog 3 times in a row. Like who
And now
does
That-
that?
I can't go
That's a
on it
feat.
anymore
Yeah.
because that was so much fun.
And
in the
we say we
rain.
can't go on it not in the rain because we were like cry laughing the whole time. We're like, what is
You're getting
happening?
pelted in the face.
Yes. And the other tip we have is we bring a towel from the hotel. We obviously bring it back to the hotel, but we take a little hand towel with us in our backpack to dry off your hands, dry off your phone, like if anything
Mhm.
gets wet, like
Just do that in general.
yeah,
I
bring a
mean,
little towel
Mhm.
with you. I know it does take up space, but if it's going to rain, like we ended up using it the whole day.
Yeah. I mean, and
Um,
just bring a little towel in general.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Florida. It's hot.
But we
The-
love going to the parks in the rain.
I will go to Disney Springs and buy another pair of shoes before I will wear sandals. At Walt Disney
We
World.
agree with you
It is-
normally, but
I will say it.
There's
was,
no chance.
It was painful. Like I wear, like Maddie, you wore Converse. Like
Oh my
one day
gosh,
on
that
your,
was so
on your
dumb.
trip. Like I'm always wearing like my thick, like orthopedic shoes.
Like Hoka's and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
we
Oh
wear
yeah,
Hoka's, yeah.
Hoka. Two
Yeah.
Hoka girls. Like I'm wearing my Hokas. I'm wearing my On running shoes.
yeah, the 13 hours in Converse, although I was like, my outfit looks so much cuter. I'll never do that again.
No.
I got back and I was like, holy smokes, that was too much in the platform
Mhm.
Converse.
And
I
again,
don't
we
judge people in
often-
the Converse as much anymore because they're owned by Nike, so I feel like they're more comfortable than like the original flat Converse. So they're not
Mhm.
as
Chuck
bad, but
Taylors.
I can't imagine. God bless you, because I couldn't put myself through that.
We just do it that one day. And then
There-
we're like, ooh, yeah.
There
Just,
you go.
Just
But
when it rains. Just when it rains.
definitely always make sure you bring extra shoes. If you're not bringing sandals for when it rains, always bring extra shoes. That's my
Oh,
biggest
yeah.
thing. But you definitely do have to embrace it because it only ruins it as much as you let it, I think.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
nothing you can do. So you might as well make the most of
Mhm.
it. And the parks are dead. Like people go home or they go back to the hotel or they go,
Mhm.
go to Disney Springs. A lot of
Mhm.
people will do that. So we get on so many rides and they don't
Yeah.
close them down unless it's thundering and lightning. So if it's just rain, send it. Like
Yeah.
do it. Have fun.
And the other big thing that I've seen now as I'm looking into going with kids, cover your stroller.
yeah.
Cover your stroller. Even if it's bright and
Yep.
sunny outside, you don't know what's going to happen.
And they do give you stroller covers when you rent from most of the major companies in Universal or
good to know.
at Walt Disney World. Don't ever rent the plastic stroller from Walt Disney World. I'll say that 100 million times. But if you rent one from one of like Scooter Bug or
1,000 times.
one of the others, they give it to you, the big thing of plastic. I always get frustrated because you have to take it out, the plastic cover out from the underneath the stroller when you go through security.
Mhm.
But so let's talk food a little bit, really, because we're getting long, and I want to make sure we talk about food, quick service and table service. Let's talk about them a little bit at the same time. Girls, what are your favorite spots to recommend for someone that has not been to Walt Disney World before that you guys absolutely love, whether it be quick service or table service?
If you're going with a big group, Crystal Palace, because a buffet is always your best bet with a big group. And it's a great character dinner or character meal. I mean, it's not just dinner, it's breakfast as well. And the food is really good now. It wasn't before, but post pandemic, it's good. So that's really great with a good group. If you're more of an adventurous eater, Skipper's Canteen.
Yeah,
is
we
a
like
good-
Skipper's Canteen. It's a cute atmosphere.
Yeah,
No
that's a good
characters,
sit-down.
but the cast members are great there.
yeah,
But our
Mhm.
like quick service number one, we will die on this hill, is Columbia Harbor House.
yes.
We love
Ooh.
it. We love it. It's our
It's-
favorite.
Oh
But
my
here's the thing.
gosh.
But here's the thing about it.
I just can't. I
So
can't.
unique.
We love it. What, you don't like it?
I'm sitting here. No, I'm just sitting here thinking like, oh, number one, Columbia Harbor House is great. Okay. But I'm thinking like far and away, number one, you're building it up. And I'm like, oh, they're going to say Casey's for sure. And then they
No,
just
no, no.
then you just drop the ball. And it's like,
Hit you with the Columbia Harbor House.
Well,
Oh
but once
my
again, it's that
gosh.
nostalgia piece because
We like the clam chowder in a bread bowl.
they used to have the
Oh
clam
my
chowder in a bread
goodness.
bowl.
Oh,
So for me, like that was a huge piece.
Yeah.
And they did for the 50th, they brought it back and it was
And we like, they have
Amazing.
like salads. They have like healthier options too. I don't know. We love Columbia Harbor sauce. We also love Pecos Bills.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
Pecos Bills. That's really
That's-
good. You're getting rice.
That would be that'd
protein.
be a good underrated option, Pecos Bills.
Yeah.
I feel like
Very
that like
underrated.
Chip, I don't even think we've ever talked about that on the show.
That was mine. That was my choice. by
Was
the way.
it?
Yeah.
All right, well, no, it's okay. You can join in. What is kind of some of your spots, Chip? So Pecos Bills is one. What are some of the other ones that you love?
So the other one we go to is Sleepy Hollow. We just like I like the breakfast one, which I'm not a Nutella fan at all, but on that waffle, it's pretty good. I don't know. I don't like Nutella normally, but on that
I think
waffle,
that was
it's
where
pretty
I
good.
got the funnel cake. That was terrible. I want to say it
Probably.
was.
I think
Yeah.
is that
Probably.
Friar's Nook?
It might have
that
been
the funnel
Friar's
cake is
Nook.
at?
We
It's
always
in- but it's in
like,
that
want
same
that to
area,
be
I
good, and it
think.
never is. Yeah.
Yeah.
They all are kind of in that Fantasyland area.
Yeah.
I got the funnel cake and it was so bad that I rage bought the like $9 piece of bacon on a stick. And the bacon on a stick was so good. It like it came with a bag of chips, but like I think I gave that one like an 8.2. It was one of my favorite snacks I've ever had. It's expensive.
I've never had that.
It's
But-
expensive, but it's really
If you
good.
come to the Minnesota State Fair, we have bacon on a stick, and it's really
mean,
good.
I'm always down for some bacon on a stick. Chip, what's your other like table service that you love?
Well, my other quick service is Gaston's, especially in the morning or in the
Is it
afternoon.
the
We
cinnamon
love-
roll?
The cinnamon roll is good, but we love the LeFou's brew.
Mm.
My kids love it. It's like a frozen apple juice. My kids love that. The table service is the Thanksgiving place, and I just call it the Thanksgiving place. It's over.
Yes.
I
Liberty
can't
Tree
think-
Tavern.
Yeah.
Liberty Tree Tavern,
Yep.
yes. Which
Gosh, you
that
guys
is-
are all crazy.
We're saving that.
Yeah, we're
saving
doing that in the
We've
fall
heard
for
it's
the first
really
time.
good.
And
Liberty
so
Tree Tavern is
that's
good.
we love Thanksgiving. I mean, being Midwestern people, we love that food. And my wife's pretty much Amish, so it's like a home cooked meal for her. So
I love that. Yeah, we're excited to try it. We've heard good things. We've never been, but
Yeah.
we that's kind of our vibe too. We love a good home cooked hearty
I,
meal.
I cannot believe we got through 3 people and nobody mentioned Casey's. So
We're not.
I
We don't
will-
love
it's
Casey's.
yours. We
oh
know
my
it's yours.
god,
Everybody knows
Take
it's
it,
yours.
yeah.
What?
It's okay.
I'm like, oh, I'm like cringing. So I mean, they're the best fries and corn dogs that you can get anywhere, and
That's true.
I do feel like I have like a little bit of that nostalgia factor
Mhm.
because it's something that like my kids absolutely love right before the fireworks. So it's
Oh,
something
yeah.
like we'll do like the pre-fireworks dessert party, and you can just take Casey's over and have a place to sit, or you can go on the hub grass and you can just sit there and
Mhm.
eat. And there's something about like when you're a Disney person, there's something about seeing your kids on the hub grass like playing and eating and
Oh yeah.
just running
Yes.
around that like it just kind of hits. So I do think that that's part of it. But I'm one of the people that like if I'm, and this is kind of a cop out, but if I'm gonna do table service when I'm at Magic Kingdom, I would rather do it at a resort. So I would
Absolutely.
rather
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah, of
pop-
course.
pop out and go to like California Grill or something. Like there's not a lot of places that like really jump out to me that I'm like I really have to eat there on this trip. And I think we have to, because I want to make sure that we cover this for first timers too. Like the big ones are Cinderella's Royal Table and Be Our Guest. And if you're gonna choose, I'd love to know what you guys think. If you're gonna choose between one or the other, which one would you pick? And I'll preface that by saying, like, for me, it would definitely be Cinderella's Royal Table. I think that Be Our Guest, like, maybe this is a little bit of a hot take, but it's kind of fallen off in terms of quality.
Oh, we agree.
And now I'm getting ahead of myself because we were going to talk about this on overrated or underrated. So let's do it now.
Yeah.
Overrated or underrated, girls? Are Be Our Guest? What is your thought?
Overrated.
All right.
Yeah, you don't. The only character is the Beast.
Where's
Are you
Belle?
kidding
Like,
me?
what are we doing?
Lumiere.
Oh, I sense
Cogsworth.
anger.
Give me
We-
someone.
Oh, we get fired up about this. We're like, what are you doing? Like,
Well,
we
I guess
we
I
hit a
always get the
spot.
most upset because when Disney does something like this, like there's so much potential, and they make it 3/4 of the way there, and then they just give up.
It's an expensive meal too.
way
Yes.
overpriced. Yeah. It's
Bring
Bring
painful
back the
in
quick service
wallet.
lunch.
There you go.
Bring
Yeah.
Chip,
back quick service lunch.
I
That's what I
think I
say.
know where you're gonna end up on this, but where do you find it on the overrated, underrated scale?
Oh, it's overrated.
Yeah.
If we're gonna go back to the original question, I've eaten at both, and I would go to Cinderella's Royal Table just more because of the character interaction.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah.
The food's not great. I'm gonna tell you that it's not the best food of all time. But
You're not going there for a meal. Is really the
No.
gist of that.
it's the characters, it's meeting the princesses. Yeah, the food was okay. Like it wasn't nothing special.
The
Well, and
view from inside of Cinderella's royal table, like inside the castle looking out, is pretty amazing. But they're both equally well themed, I think. Like Be Our Guest is
Yeah.
a really, really well themed restaurant, even if they don't have great characters. It like the actual theming inside is pretty awesome, especially for kids. But I don't think
Yeah.
one is like, light years above the other. And certainly I think overall Cinderella's royal table is better. And they're about the same price, which I think
Mhm.
is kind of the frustrating part. But I've seen a lot of people talk about how they need to revamp the characters and stuff at Be Our Guest, and definitely agree there. Let's talk about characters. And I want to touch on this very quickly. Are there any character meets that you think are a must? And kind of where do you rank the different character meets that they have at Magic Kingdom?
We love characters.
Yes.
Super fun. We have like little autograph books. And
I love it.
We'll
Have you guys ever
we'll
done
print
anything
out-
like creative outside of autograph books? Like, have you ever done picture frames?
I've seen
you
it
just-
like on like Instagram and stuff. And
Yeah.
I think maybe we'll tackle the picture frame one. I saw actually a lot of people on my last trip doing that. I think it's such a cute way to kind of like
Mhm.
display it.
I've
we
seen
haven't-
purses.
Yeah. Or tumblers.
Yeah.
I
so
did
that's
the
cute,
Yeti
but-
bottle. The Yeti
Yes,
bottle
yeah,
tumbler.
we
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
We love that. But I think for me, like my biggest character, like we love the Ugly Stepsisters. They're so funny, and
Oh, they're hilarious.
they make like we just think that they're hilarious. They're cast so well, and they talk
Mhm.
to you so much. Like we think that they're just like they're so funny. I mean, we ran as them for the 10K.
That was the villain.
yeah, the villain
villain
10K.
year.
So we like love seeing them too, and
Yeah.
and they're so funny, and they'll kind of poke fun at you. They'll talk to you. So
Mhm.
that's like one of our go-tos. And I know you can like always find them kind of like walking around Fantasyland or just like to the left of the castle, like right over
Yeah.
the bridge. They're always over there, but they're hilarious.
I think if you are someone who really wants to meet characters, or if you have like a little girl who loves the princesses, Magic Kingdom is really great for that. You've got the character dining. If you don't want to do the character dining, there's what is it like? It rotates, but I know it's like Rapunzel,
Princess Fairy Tale
Tiana,
Hall.
Elena.
Yes,
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
a really good spot too. Like you get to meet quite a few, and you only have to wait in line. I think the one time.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
the
They
classic
let
characters.
you pick. You can pick two on one side or two on the other. Usually, it's
Yep.
like Tiana and Cinderella, or no, Tiana and Rapunzel, or Elena and
Tiana, Rapunzel.
Cinderella.
Yep.
Something like that. And you can pick.
Yep.
So you have, if you want to do all four, you have to wait in line twice. But either way, you're getting to meet four of the princesses pretty quickly there. I do wish they would rotate the princesses there more for the kids,
Mhm.
because I feel like it's been those same four for a really long time. And yeah, I feel like Elena's day in the sun has come and gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they got rid of Merida, and like that's fine. Mirabelle is like a better meet than Merida, but Merida is better than Elena of Avalor. So
I agree.
Elena.
Yeah, I mean, and
Um,
I love Brave, so like I was really sad about that one.
that was
She's
so-
a,
like,
she's a
such
fun
bummer.
interaction.
Yeah, she's fun.
Like, and I thought they would keep her over in, it wasn't in Adventureland, but it was out in front of the
She
Hall
had
of
like her little
Presidents.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she had a
Yeah.
little area like right next to the castle, and then they booted her for Mirabelle, where they put the casita, and
Yeah.
and they
Oh,
they
right,
put her
yeah.
like temporarily by like where you could get on the ferry boat.
Oh, by, like, Tom Sawyer?
Okay.
Yes, by Tom Sawyer Island, and
Yeah.
she was right there like temporarily, and then she just disappeared. So I don't know, but
Hopefully she
Chip,
comes back.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope so too. But Chip, what's your thought on characters?
Magic Kingdom's probably the best for princesses overall, but you can meet Minnie and Mickey. Minnie and Daisy are over at the Pete's, what's that called? The Silly Sideshow.
Silly Shy Show, yeah.
Yeah.
But the best character meet at Magic Kingdom is Enchanted Tales with Belle. And it's not, it's the
Aw.
best. See, my daughter, she was the beast, and it was Like I was one of the I had to hold something. I forget what it was, but it was one of the best experiences we've had.
It is probably the most underrated, I think, experience at Magic Kingdom. And it's awesome that they let everybody take a picture with Belle and they kind of go through the whole thing. So I definitely agree there. It's one of the best. I think Mirabelle's the best for me, just because I think it's so well themed there. And it never takes as long as I think it should, like with her popularity. But there's so many characters that like need more respect
Oh, yeah.
at Magic Kingdom. Like
So
I,
true.
I would love to see Miguel like get more than a cavalcade. Raya needs more than a
Yeah.
cavalcade. There's a lot of them that I think could be really good that they don't have. But that said, there's a lot of really good ones. So definitely, check all those out that we've chatted about. Last thing we're going to talk about really quickly in terms of Magic Kingdom is Happily Ever After. The first question that I feel like we should ask every guest is like a barometer is, are you a happily ever after or enchantment person? So girls, what is your, and Chip, I don't know that I've ever gotten your final verdict on this question. Which one is
Oh,
it for
Me?
you guys? Well, you got engaged
Happily
happily
ever
ever
after.
after.
Yeah,
So
happily
like,
ever after. Like,
Always.
oh, it is like
100%.
it has a piece of my heart. Like, even if you took out like me getting engaged under the fireworks.
it's not a fair question for you.
Yeah, no, but like, okay, even if I took that out, like I loved it. Like it's so good with the
it's the
projections and the
superior show.
music. It's got all the classic tunes, like the fireworks. It's the mashups are so good. Like you really
Mhm.
get like a great variety of options, like all the great songs. I just like sometimes I like will watch it on YouTube. And
Yeah.
why do I do that? I don't know, but I'm just like my serotonin's low. Let's watch Happily Ever After.
100%.
I think
With you.
I think the castle projections are a lot better
Yeah.
too for Happily Ever After.
But Chip, what is your decision here? I feel like you're an
Oh, it's-
enchantment
it-
guy.
I'm not. I'm a happily ever after. I have so many memories with happily ever after with my kids,
Mhm.
with my dad and my stepmom, with my kids. Now I'm going to have my mom and stepdad this summer. That it's a great song too. Like I can watch. I listen. I ain't gonna lie. I probably watch it at least once a month. I watch. Happily
Yes,
Ever
me
After on
too,
YouTube.
Chip. Yes. It's so good. I'm just like, oh, like my heartstrings. I mean, I loved it so much. I like walked down the aisle to Happily Ever After. I loved
yeah.
it. Like it was so I think it's an unfair question to ask me, but we watched and we liked Enchantment. It just wasn't, it didn't like give us that like
It's okay.
tugs at the heartstrings, like longevity that
Yeah.
Happily Ever After did.
I mean,
I-
it was no Harmonious. I'll just say
Oh yeah,
that
we
much.
love Harmonious too.
I like
I'm
the
very
Walt
upset
Disney
about that one
touch.
going.
I liked the Walt Disney touch of Enchantment.
Yes.
That's about it. I mean, it's happily ever after that.
Well, we finally all agree on something, so I'll give that. It's definitely a happily ever after for me too. My kids love Enchantment though, so there's still people out there that do like Enchantment better, but I'm a happily ever after guy. So when it comes to happily ever after, what are your tips or thoughts on where and when and how to kind of position yourself for seats or standing spots? How do you guys approach it?
We've never done it, but I have heard the dessert party is really worth it. Like if you, and especially I think if I had young kids, I would do the dessert party. You're guaranteed good seating.
And a physical seat.
Yeah, yeah. And then they can run around on the hub grass if they need to, if
Mhm.
they get bored halfway through. There's nothing worse than like a kid with their phone, like sitting in a stroller with the phone on full volume, the phone on full brightness because they don't care about the fireworks and they're sitting behind you.
I'm a huge
a true
advocate
story.
for I'm a huge advocate for the fireworks dessert parties. So I'll definitely touch on that a little bit. But where do you guys like to stand or get your spot?
Wherever we can
How does it
weasel
work?
our way in.
Wherever we weasel in. And
So do you weasel in like
hot
15 minutes before it starts?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We do.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that's a hot take too, because we see people like sitting and waiting. And I think like maybe this will change now that we like are gonna bring a little one, but I think that it's like,
he'll probably like be in bed by then.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, that's
That's
true.
why we bring the
Grandma and grandpa are there. There you go.
yeah.
Send them
But-
home.
We like weasel our way in anywhere because also like we want to be able to get out. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the biggest congestion at the end is like we like to be somewhere at the end, whether it be like right under like the top or like it's either like on the left side or the right side, but we're never in the middle because that's where you get stuck. And now like
Yeah.
because if you time it correctly and you want to see the show, but you can still buzz out to Tomorrowland or buzz out to Fantasyland, and you can still get on rides while people are still kind of dispersing.
I think it depends on if there are extra magic hours or not. If there are extra magic hours, we'll base our spot on like, did we get on Buzz Lightyear today? No, we didn't. Okay, so we're gonna go over by Tomorrowland, and then like as the final notes are playing, we'll go run over there.
Are you guys always
Otherwise-
looking for the hub, or do you guys sometimes go to Main Street?
We've never done Main Street.
We've never done Main Street.
It's a beautiful view, especially with the
Yeah.
lights. Like it's kind of like this. It's gorgeous.
I think we're just usually able to get a decent spot that's still like close to a walkway, and we're power walkers, so we'll bob and weave our way through the crowds
Yeah.
to get out.
Chip, where do you usually like to go when you've got the kids?
You know what? I've done both. Where we stood on Main Street, and then this past time we stood on the right side by Tomorrowland, right by the popcorn stand right there.
Oh, that's
Which
a
was
good spot.
That's a great spot because we just went over, we refilled our popcorn, we got the kids ice cream bars, and we waited about 10 minutes, and then we were able to go right into Tomorrowland on the north side, so right by the teacups up there. And we had extra magic hours, so it was nice that way too.
Yeah. I think a lot of people forget that there's projections on the buildings on Main Street. So like there is like something that you miss if you're on the hub, but we always go by the hub. And when I'm by myself, I'm like you guys girls. I just like slide in wherever I can get in, and I get in and out, and it's not a big deal. But when you've got the kids, the fireworks dessert party is like borderline the best money that you can spend at Disney, because you're only going to do the fireworks when you've got little kids. You're only going to do them like once, because you can't keep them out that late so many days at Disney, because the days are just so long. So like if you're going to pick your one day that you're going to do a nighttime show, and then maybe there's going to be one other day on the trip that you're going to do Fantasmic, you really need to plan it right. And the fireworks dessert party is not cheap, but you get a spot to sit for dinner, like before the party or before the fireworks start. You get drinks, you get desserts, you get all that stuff that's included, but then you get the spot on the hub and they make everybody stand now. Like you can't sit on the hub. There's no, like, you don't get like a physical chair or anything. And basically they've gotten to the point where they sell so much of them that everybody stands and then moves forward. So it does get crowded, like, like any concert or whatever else, but you still have, like, there's not a bad spot to stand there.
Yeah.
Which is the benefit. And you don't have, like, you can go over there 10 or 15 minutes right before, walk the kids over. They park your stroller for you, which is great.
Oh, that alone is worth it. A little stroller valet. We love that.
Yeah. Like, so like it's up in underneath Tomorrowland Terrace. They park the stroller there, and then you get to just pop up and grab it and then head out. And you're right by the exit, which is the other beautiful benefit.
Huge.
Like the alley that goes behind Main Street, most people that have never been to Magic Kingdom, you can't go back in that area during the day, so you don't even realize it's there. But they open these walls and it'll let you walk behind Main Street to exit, all the way down, and you can avoid all of Main Street, and you're literally right there. And I'm a huge advocate for it, because it just makes dealing with kids at Magic Kingdom so much easier for the fireworks, and they enjoy it more because they're able to run around and get some energy out. The parents aren't freaking out because they can't really go anywhere either, which is the other benefit, right? Like they're kind of fenced in. So I think it's worth its weight. Every chance I get, I recommend it. But if you're not going to do it, you need to get out there early when you've got a stroller and you've got the kids.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I saw a video the other day of a guy carrying a stroller over his head through that crowd, and I was like, God bless you, because that would not be me. So we've talked about all things Magic Kingdom tonight, and we want to play a little fun game before we get you off here. I know this show has gone long, so thanks for everybody for bearing with us, and we hope you've enjoyed it. But we're going to do really quickly our overrated or underrated segment, and we're going to talk about one resort and one snack. And we've talked enough about Tron that I'm not going to talk about Tron. But in terms of resorts, I want to ask you about Art of Animation. Is it overrated or underrated? So, girls, I want to hear what you have to say first. I guess, first of all, have you stayed there?
No, almost. Well, we almost did one. So I did a bunch of research.
So we haven't stayed there, but we have done a bunch of research on it.
What is your take? Is it overrated or is it underrated?
It would be, I would personally say overrated. If I was going, I would have to be going with a specific kind of group because I know that they have like a separate room and they have like the pull down suites or pull down beds and all
They do
that
have the family
stuff. But
suites, yeah.
yeah, like the family suite. So
I think it has its pros and its cons.
yeah, but honestly, overrated. I mean,
Fair.
it's pretty. The theming is kind of meh.
I tend to agree. Chip, what do you think?
I think it's, you know what? I'm probably leaning more towards the overrated, but the fact that it has the Skyliner maybe makes it underrated. Now, here's my one caveat. It is more expensive normally than Pop Century, which I personally think would make it overrated, but being on the Skyliner is the most underrated thing in Disney. So any resort on Skyliner access is probably underrated. So I'm going to go with underrated.
And the only reason why I think it's overrated is because of the Skyliner. And it's only because Pop Century is available at the same price or lower usually. Like
Yeah,
you
that's
need
what-
to
yeah.
fit that unique family size of like 5 or 6 where you're trying to get to a value. But the other part that gets really frustrating, and I see this a lot when I'm like booking trips, is that you're like right at the price of a moderate at that point. But where it gets really frustrating is like you can't stay at Coronado with a family of 5. You have to get 2 rooms. So like you're then looking at like Caribbean Beach with the 5th sleeper or something like that, and it gets kind of wonky when you've got the weird family sizes. And I say weird, but I've got a family of 5, so like I'm right there with you. But so I think it's overrated just because it tends to be, in my opinion, overpriced, and the theming is better than like All-Star Sports or All-Star Music. But frankly, I think the theming is better than Pop Century, just because I think Pop Century is a little overhyped too. But that's just my thought. So the last one I really want to get you guys on is the snack. Overrated or underrated spring rolls, and it can be the pizza or the cheeseburger. What do you guys think?
I would say
Underrated.
underrated. It's kind of, unless you're a true Disney fan, you don't know, like true Disney fans know what the spring roll is. They know where the spring roll is.
Yep.
They know that it's not always there, but a lot of people just walk by it. They have no idea.
We love it. And during Wine and Dine, like last fall, they had the Reuben one. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
I went back
yeah.
like 4 times for it. It was so good.
Yeah. And that's the fun thing too, is they'll bring in fun flavors.
There's really never a wait too. Like I think underrated
Yeah,
for sure. We
underrated.
love the spring rolls.
It does not get enough love. Chip, what do you think? Overrated or underrated?
I think it's overrated.
Oh God, I knew. Like,
no,
can we not
no.
agree on this show? Come on.
Well, listen, it was underrated until they raised it up to $10 for two.
Oh,
Ooh,
money
that's
is not a thing at
true.
Disney.
Oh,
Does
it
it
is a
even
thing.
exist? It's just funny money. You just
No,
fun
when you
Now,
have it
listen.
connected to your magic band,
Yeah.
money's not
Free.
real.
yeah.
Now, is it a snack credit on the dining plan? Because then we're talking, it's a good value then.
I don't think so.
I don't think it is.
I don't think so. No, it's like
Um,
novelty ice cream bars and like a cup of cheese sauce and stuff like
Yeah.
that for the snack credit. So you're not going to get that lucky. But that's a fair take. To me, I just don't think they get enough love and enough hype. You know, they're not the thing that you see on people talking about on social media enough. So I feel like a lot of people, they're like, you know, what do you mean I need to try a spring roll? Like, you need to try the spring rolls. So
Try the
They are
spring
good,
roll.
though.
yeah, I think they're definitely, like, if I'm telling somebody going for the first time, don't get a popcorn bucket, go get a spring roll. It's, you know, an easy decision in my world. So that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to reach out to us on social media or via email. I can be found at Adventures of a Disney Dad. Chip, where can people find you?
At Robinson Dad Life.
And girls, where can people find you if they want to touch base, follow, all those things?
Yeah, we are at the Mini Sisters, MINNE Sisters. There's no I in there. And yeah, come give us a follow. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah, we are
Yeah.
only on Instagram right now,
They do.
but
They're
who knows?
fun.
Just don't go to X. You know, that's like it's
No.
like the dark place. So stay away from there. And we'll include everybody's socials in the show notes. So make sure you touch base with everybody. And girls, we really appreciate you guys being on the show. It was a lot of fun. We hope you had a good time. And
It was awesome.
of course, if you're interested in having me assist you in planning your next Universal or Disney vacation, please feel free to reach out. All the links to get a free quote are in the show notes. And we appreciate support for the show. Everything that we do kind of goes through the agency services and things like that. Services are completely free to you, and we'd love to help you plan your next dream vacation. If you have a moment and you could like, follow, subscribe, and review the podcast on whatever platform you prefer, we would greatly appreciate the support. We know you have a lot of choices when it comes to the content you consume, and we hope this episode brightened your day. Girls, again, we thank you again a ton. We hope you guys had fun.
Yeah, thank you
We
so much.
did.
We had a
did.
blast.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for having us.
And we will look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode.
We can't wait.
We'll see you
Awesome.
when we see you.